Hey, welcome to the 1000th episode of the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I got my Mickey ears on, my R2D2 Mickey ears, because I'm me, and what other Mickey ears would I get? Got them at Disneyland. I hung them the wrong way, and the band is all stretched out. That's not good. Anyway, uh, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I have done officially 1,000 episodes. And today we have Beauty and the Beast 2017. If you want to see how we came to choose that one, I want to make sure it was something very Disney and something I hadn't seen yet. No, I had not seen this remake of the original 1993, I think, 92, 91, somewhere around there, early 90s. Part of the Disney Renaissance. It's a remake of obviously of the animated classic, the Best Picture Academy Award nominated, the first animated film to ever do that, I believe. Nominated, didn't win, but nominated. I'm pretty sure it didn't win. God, that would be really dumb if I didn't know that. Anyway, this is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, which I think is about an hour longer than the first one. Okay, maybe not that long, but it's pretty big. But before we get into that, I just want to let you know. I am, I, you probably can't believe I've gotten to 1,000 episodes. Well, they're all here on the channel, in order, all 1,000 of them. It actually technically 1,001, because I did a zero episode because they launched Disney Plus a few hours early here on the West Coast, back when it first launched in November of 2019. And yeah, since it was launching at midnight East Coast, it launched at 9 p.m. West Coast, and so I did a zero kind of test episode featuring the thing I wanted to see the most on Disney Plus, The Mandalorian. So you'll see that I've done a zero episode and then 1,000 episodes straight every day. Sometimes they were a little late, but they were all meant to be within each 24-hour period, one per day. So there has been at least 1,000 straight episodes of everything that's on of things that are on Disney Plus. Now, some of you might like be, if you're new to this, whatever, you might be like, oh, you watched all those things? Yes, I watched. When it's a movie, even if I'd seen Star Wars or Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever else, things I've seen before 1,000 times, yes, I watched them again for that episode. I've not skipped on anything. When it came to TV series, things like that, if it's 150 episodes or whatever, 7 seasons or something, no, I'm not going to watch every single episode of Hannah Montana. It's just not going to happen. Miley's talented, yes, but I'm not going to watch every single episode. I'm going to watch 1 or 2 episodes. That's what usually happens. The documentaries, same thing. If it's a single episode, watch it. If it's a series, probably just watch 1 episode. I get the gist of it usually. That's how it usually works out. But to get an idea of just how much I've watched on Disney Plus in the last 1,000 days. I don't even know if Disney Plus realizes they've been on streaming. They've been on the internet for 1,000 days as of today. Officially. Come on. They better see a tweet or something about it, and they should mention me. Maybe I'll mention them. I don't know. We'll see. So out of 1,000 days, I've watched 1,172 hours and 59 minutes. Missed at 1173 by 1 minute. 1172 hours and 59 minutes. That's how much I've watched in the last 2.5 years. Yeah. Just Disney Plus. No, I didn't go grab the Blu-ray version of whatever movie I watched. I watched 1,170, almost 3 hours of Disney Plus. How much have you watched? I didn't plan on doing it that long myself. It's kind of a bit of a surprise. Go away. Go. Tap something. And by the way, these are all. I always, in order to make it really easy to put them up really quickly, the way I'm able to do this one a day pretty much is by not doing any edits. Like, I trim the front and the end a little bit just so there's no dead space, but it is what it is. but no weird edits in the middle, unless I had to do a re-pick at the end. Anyway, of the hours of that 1172 that I watched, I've made 181 hours, 21 minutes and 51 seconds worth of video, not counting this one, of course. So out of the previous 999, or technically 1000, 181 hours of footage. You could watch me for days, if not weeks, on it. Days, yeah, days, almost a week. Yeah, that'd be. I don't know why you would do that, but you could watch all the episodes on a non-stop playlist. Wink. Non-stop on YouTube, and or maybe wherever else I decide to put this. I've got ideas. So yeah, 181 hours. If you're not sick of me yet, well, hey, I'm not stopping. I'm gonna go for another 1,000. I'm gonna keep going until I run out of things. And I know Disney is always adding new stuff. They're also taking stuff away. And so yeah, it's a lot to go through. It's a lot to go through, and I'm happy for the challenge. I honestly did this just I figured, hey, I'm going to do it from the start, from the launch day, and we'll just see how far it goes. See how it works out, and you know what? And if I get bored with it, if I feel like I can't do it, if it gets too busy, sometimes I travel, sometimes, get sick, like COVID. Speaking of which, COVID, doing this, since I was pretty much locked away for months at a time, like most of us were, I don't live with anybody. I'm pretty much by myself. So during COVID, the friends that I even have that I hang out with here during COVID, I would see on video chat. And yeah, so I would go weeks without seeing human beings, except for like somebody at the post office or the drive-through, maybe. And even there was times even those things weren't open a lot of the time, except for post office. But yeah, so this kind of got me talking, sure, to myself, to a camera, but it's gotten me out of my little doldrums of sitting quietly alone, doing nothing. I get to use my brain to talk about stuff that I just watched and experienced, whether I wanted to watch it or not. Because yeah, this is all randomly picked, except partially for today's episode. Watch yesterday's episode to see what we went through in order to pick something that was just right for the 1000th episode. I didn't want to do something that was just, oh, look, another documentary about pharaohs or mummies and crocodiles and alligators and sharks, and those are neat, those are cool, but they weren't like 1000th episode type things. And I wasn't going to do another Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie I've already seen. You know what? We'll get to the rest of those. I've seen a lot of them already from this whole 1,000 days. We still have a few more to go. But yeah, I didn't want to kind of revisit stuff that I already knew. And I had not seen when this was finally picked on our 5th try. This is what we got. We got Beauty and the Beast, the 2017 live-action remake starring Emma Watson. Let me get Dan Stevens, the Beast. You might know him from Legion and a bunch of other stuff. He's been all over the last few years. Luke Evans as Gaston, who is having the time of his life, just being mustache-twirlingly bad without the mustache. And then Josh Gad as LeFou, who controversially played LeFou as a gay character. Pretty sure LeFou was very much into Gaston in the animated film. We just never really talked about it. This is a man who was singing and dancing, really, really, really playing up. I mean, sure, there's plenty of suck-ups in the, we've seen those in politics recently, but he was pretty much in love with Gaston. It's just the way it is. That's all right. So get your crushes where you can. Kevin Kline as Emma Watson as Belle's dad, Maurice, and we get Emma Thompson as Mrs. Potts. We get I forgot that these guys were in this. My brain, I knew about the film. I didn't really watch it, but I forgot. And if you don't know this already, this is a bit of a spoiler. Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, plays Lumiere. And Cogsworth, It's played by Ian McKellen. Yeah. So think about all these major franchises all sort of coming together. Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, uh, Harry Potter, all coming together into one big Disney production. And there was a point where Bill Condon, the director, was told that, you know what, maybe we're not going to do. Disney said, maybe we won't make a musical. And he's like, are you crazy? How can you not do how can you do Beauty and the Beast with all the fantastic songs in this movie and not do them? I mean, be our guest? Come on. Tale as old as time, Beauty and the Beast? Come on, you got to do those things. And they did. And while some people convince maybe Emma Watson isn't necessarily the greatest singer of all time, especially compared to there's a lot of big voices in this that are great. Uh, she's great. She's fantastic. I didn't find any problem with her at all. I'm not an expert, but you know what? She's great. She knocks it out of the park. Of course, you got Josh Gad singing this stuff, and Luke Evans, and a whole chorus of people in the small provincial town singing about the greatness of Gaston. That brings the house down, kind of thing. This is I know that have they done it? They've had to have done a Broadway musical version of this, right? They haven't. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's been a high school musical production of this, and good grief, this is the way to do it. So, I mean, you got top talent, and of course, Ewan McGregor sings. He's a candlestick, but still, I mean, he candelabra, but or whatever. Yeah, but he does his own singing and dancing and everything else. Um, Maybe a little bit of a. Oh, I also have to mention the woman he's in love with, the Feather Duster, played by, and I'm gonna say her name wrong. I know I'm gonna say it wrong. I hate myself for not being able to say it wrong. Right, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, which you might recognize her from Loki, season 1. She was the judge, kind of thing, in the Time Variance Authority, the TVA. She is fantastic in this. Of course, Stanley Tucci's in this as well, and so it's a big cast, top talent. They really pulled out all the big ones for this, and it paid off. I don't know if it did crazy like well at the box office. I mean, probably not compared to the original. I don't know. For to me that doesn't. It's for what I'm talking about here. That really doesn't matter. I just take it on the fly. As I mean, I don't really do a whole lot of preparation. If you can't tell, and I'm not a great public speaker. If you can't tell by now, I mean, honestly, when I started this thing out, I started over my couch, holding my phone up like this and talking into it from a distance, and doing this basically because I didn't want to do the very long videos, and I knew my arm would get tired holding the phone at for long and too long, and then the video would end, and I'd be like, okay, this is all I got to say about this. And yeah, if you look at my early videos, that's pretty much what you're gonna see with my TV in the background. Yeah, and now I've evolved into this. Yeah, so it's yeah. But I mean, also, I was gonna do something special for this episode, change my whole location. I might have gone to Disneyland. I might have gone up to the Disney Studios and just stood outside the gate until somebody let me in or ran me off. I've been to the studio lot many times, but yeah, I don't think they were necessarily going to let me in on a Saturday, Sunday. What is today? Good grief! Yeah, I didn't think they were going to let me in. So anyway, it's a lot has changed, and so I was going to do 4K, 60 frames per second. No, not worth it. It's nobody needs to see this, and in 4K, and it's just a guy talking in front of a TV screen or monitor or whatever. It doesn't make a difference. Got a Pac-Man ghost, doesn't make any sense, but that's just a bunch of 80s stuff. Yeah, Flash Gordon record. Anyway, back to Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. I actually liked it a whole lot more than I thought I would. And I mean, I'm not one of those types of people that's extremely precious about these kind of things. Yes, I grew up with this from film, and I loved it. I liked and saw Little Mermaid more often than I did Beauty and the Beast. but still, I love the film. And there's great songs, and it looked fantastic. This is takes it to a whole new level because, of course, it's live action. They get to really fill out the story a little bit more. I like the fact that they gave a little bit more backstory to Belle's mom. I mean, I always make this joke. I don't know if it's a joke really, but I call out the trope in many Disney princess type films where the princess is always missing a parent. Usually, it's Little Mermaid, Jasmine, the rest. There's always a missing parent. There's always and there's presumably a dead parent. Or in the case of Frozen, two dead parents eventually. And so it's the kind of thing where in this we do get to see Belle's mother in flashback, but we get to understand why it's her and her father, and we get a kind of a frame of reference for the period in time in which this is, why she's a little bit different than everybody in that small provincial town, and they make a big deal about it. They play that, they sing that song, and it's always, many times people saw it as a kind of a dig on these country bumpkins in this little village, and then Belle was just so much better. People sometimes had a problem with that. I mean, that's not the biggest problem with the film story wise, but it's still like, oh, I'm so special, and everybody calls her a weirdo, and she's different because she likes books. She likes to read. Okay, so what? But yeah, it's unusual, and she gets in trouble in this movie for teaching a little girl how to read by the school teacher, like the school guy in charge of the school. So yeah, they treat her like crap. So I mean, so in this film, you kind of get better justification for why she feels this way and why people feel that way about her. She's a strange bird. She's very strange compared to the rest of them. They're all kind of fine with the way they are. And Gaston is, of course, the worst of them. He is the exact opposite of Belle in every way. But of course, you could say that about Beauty and the Beast, Belle and the Beast. As we get into that story, that kind of gets fleshed out a little bit more than you did in the cartoon. And of course, in the animated feature, yeah, you're not going to get... In that era, you're not going to do a whole lot of deep dives on backstories and anything else. It's going to be a magical curse, and true love has to win in the end and break the curse, and all these things. You know this story. I know it's for the most part. If you cut out all the extra scenes and the extra songs, there's at least 2 extra songs in this. Which are actually pretty good. They're not as classic as the ones we know, but they could become classic. They're actually pretty decent. They kind of give a little bit more weight to the Beast. Beast has one song himself, a solo song. But if you took out all the extra scenes and the extra songs and trimmed it down to the same scenes that were in the original animated feature, you've got a lot, exactly 1-to-1, pretty much. Almost, it seems like in some cases, things were shot almost exactly the same as we saw them in the animated feature. So that's kind of neat to see that. There's no like big deviation in a storyline, but it is expanded in many ways. You get to see, and you get to understand the timeline is a little bit different, because Maurice is let free, and he runs to the townspeople and say, "There's a beast that has my daughter," and they just laugh him off like he's crazy. And of course, the only person who trusts him, who believes him, because he wants Belle, is Gaston. And well, Gaston really isn't about to help him out much, but he wanted to look good in order to get Belle's hand, because women are commodities, or at least were back then. So. So yeah, you get to see there's real motivations, and it's a little bit deeper motivations than there were in the original thing, and that's all right. It's understandable. It's not meant to be really complex in either version of this. It's got to entertain kids and families and things like that. We're not going to get real big thinkers that are just like, oh, it's a deep, like mental deep dives on this. No, it's all right. It can be just fun. It can be creative. It can be beautiful. and that's all right. It can be commercial, and that's still all right. It's it's going to sell princess dresses or dolls or whatever. It's going to do that, and hey, uh, we also and the only thing I might have had a little bit of problem with is the Beast animation. That's what kind of a lot of people's argument is in this. A problem with this is the Beast animation isn't always excellent. His face, anyway. There's times it is actually really good, but I think if this was done today, or just somebody did something with it right now, like just sort of redid it, it would be leaps and bounds better in quality for the face animation, I think. Not because of anybody's lack of talent, but because of um, the transformation of the technology in just 5 years. I think we could see some. I mean, we're gonna say that in 10 years. It's gonna whatever we would do for today, 5 years, 10 years from now, any of this stuff we make today is gonna look like, ugh. It's not gonna look as good as it could. Uh, but there are moments when they've really got it right. And Dan Stevens is a great actor, singer, performer. I loved him in Legion, but he's kind of lost for the most part under that digital face. There are moments when he gets to connect with her, and and they have conversations, and while his expressions come through pretty well, like humor, his self doubt, his struggle with trying to control the beast and try to be human and kind at the same time, and sort of get past all the garbage he's lived with over the years, and everything that he realizes is weighing on that moment, whether he can actually have her fall in love with him or not, because it's not just his life that is going to be slipping away. He could never become human again very, very soon. It's the lives of everybody in the castle, which to me has always been the most horrific thing about this story is that the witch that transformed him into a beast also transformed the people who were in that castle into inanimate objects that were alive. She turned a little boy into a teacup, a very fragile teacup, like French porcelain. That stuff isn't sturdy. So I'm thinking, you've just sentenced this child to death. Even if there was no ticking clock on this, rose petals dropping off and everything else, and turning them into the things they were turned into, it's terrifying. And yes, I'm going to spoil this because I mean you've seen the original movie. It happens here, but it's so much more unsettling in seeing in this way because when the spell is the last petal falls and she hasn't proclaimed her love for him just yet, Beast dies in her arms, and all of the people who are now like clocks and candelabras and feather dusters and teacups and teapots are now those things. Their faces fade from the hello. Wow, I've talked a while, I guess. Their faces fade from the what you call it. It doesn't. It's and they freeze in their poses or whatever. It's unsettling and it's terrifying to for a curse that they there's a moment where Mrs. Potts, I think it's her that explains that they never did anything. As much as the Beast was a total jerk when he was human, they went along with it. So there's one little line in there that sort of justifies their punishment, but that was a child, like, who's lived as a teacup for who knows how long. I mean, this isn't. I don't. He comes out of it the same age. Nobody's aged in all this time, but holy cow, that's just a little. That's just unsettling. But yeah. So when you realize when you think about it, it's a horror film to a certain degree, and if Belle isn't, if somehow they don't get this strange girl to fall in love with him at the right time, I mean, yeah, I mean, it was always going to happen because, or it was supposed to happen. She always had, technically, I guess, had free will, but the idea is that those petals were still falling no matter what, whether that girl just happened to show up or not. But I think the witch that had made all this happen, um, she's been watching, and you get to see what I mean. So that aspect, which is an additional part to this story, it's not just, oh, suddenly this magic spell uh, fixed itself like it did in the animated thing. There's no hand behind the fixing of things. We get to see that witch again, and it kind of makes things fit together. That there was a guiding hand in all of this. But yeah, it's to me that I found that helped make this not just chance, that it was just accidental, that she just happened to love him at just the right moment to save the day. She's not required to. It's not her obligation to love a monster because he did a nice thing suddenly, or because he did one kind thing. He set her free when her father was in trouble. And also, she gave him he gave her a library. So yeah, you can see just like in the movie, but in this sense, it's a life. You can almost see Emma Watson playing two characters in that exact moment. Not just Belle, but you can see Hermione, the Hermione in her also just being presented with an endless library of books, and just in that moment, she would probably fallen in love with him. Like, okay, you know what? I will live with you forever. I don't care. I got all the books I need. I just lock me in this room. I'm fine. Have the dishes and stuff. Bring in the food. I'm good. Find me a soft couch, and I'll be reading. So yeah, I can see that even if that was not Belle, if that was Hermione, I think she would have just gone nuts in that moment, which is kind of fun to imagine. One of the things in this also people have a complaint with is that, oh yeah, what's inside matters more than what's outside. That's why he was turned into a beast, because he was such a monster on the inside, and so are all the people that that sort of helped him get away with being who he was and treating people like garbage. They all, well, that sounds really familiar. To today's society, but they were all just fairly heinous people, and not just servants in the house that got transformed. But at the very end, she saves the day, the curse is lifted, and he's this beautiful man. He's not the beast anymore that she doesn't have to look at for the rest of her life because she loves him. But she did love him when he was still a beast, of course. But still, is kind of undermines the whole exterior thing. This beauty is on the inside thing. I don't know. It doesn't. I'm not worried about it. It's just one of those little nitpicky things that some people kind of poo-poo all over when it comes to the resolution of either one of the versions of this story. And by the way, the original version of the story, nothing like any of this. So, in both cases, this is all very Disney. So, Alan Menken score, of course. Again, beautiful songs. Like I said, it was Bill Condon who directed this. I think it's. Some people just don't like this, but I think they're a little bit more in love with the original, and I understand that. That's cool. I wasn't beholden to it, and I didn't see it in theaters. I didn't see it till now, today, and I liked it. I really did like it. It's really good. So, yeah, I think that's all I can tell you about this. I've already picked. If you were watching yesterday, we already picked the next 5 days worth of episodes. I already marked down that list. So I can see. I forgot to bring this in with me with my other notes. Come on, I got 1,000 things to scroll through here. Oh, dang, it didn't get updated. Alright, I'm going to have to close it out and do it again. But in the meantime, I'm going to tell you what the last few ones, every 100 episodes, I made a big point of 100 episodes, great. Our 100th episode was Knick Knack. Yeah. Oh, Lend a Paw, which was a Pluto short, was our very first #1 episode. Our 100th episode was Knick Knack. It was a short, like an early Pixar thing. Our 200th episode was Tangled the series. Our 300th episode was Mickey, Donald, Goofy, and the Three Musketeers, an animated version of that, obviously. And the 400th episode was The Swap from 2016. I don't know if it was a body swap thing, more than likely. I can't even remember. It was only 600 episodes ago. Why don't I remember it? Oh, 500, A Tale of Two Critters. I think that was short. I'm not sure. Number 600, Soy Luna, which was a Spanish or South American soap opera. Yeah, we got an import on that one. It needed subtitles. It came with them. And our 700th episode was The Croc That Ate Jaws. We had another shark documentary, but in this case, we had a crocodile that was big enough to take a bite out of a shark. 800 was Winter Storage. I think it was a Chip and Dale animated short. Got a lot of shorts for that. And number 900 was Snowball Express, which Christmas movie, I guess. I can't even remember at this point. Anyway, 1000, Beauty and the Beast, 2017. And tomorrow, we've already figured it out because I gave myself 5 chances to pick something random, and if they didn't suck, but they just didn't have a feel of a 1000th episode kind of thing. I wanted it to be very Disney. Well, I said I'd put them on the next few episodes, and tomorrow's episode is Turning the Tables with Robin Roberts. So it's a kind of a interview series. We're gonna just watch one episode, and she talks with women and all the various things they've dealt with in their careers in Hollywood and things like that, and some of the things they've had to overcome. So tomorrow, for a 1001 episode, is Robin Roberts talking about turning the tables with Robin Roberts on the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on all the other ones. Oh, you know what? I've never really asked this in all the other ones, but subscribe, like, ring the bell, smash things. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But I'd appreciate it because it helps maybe me get more followers and more people see these. And maybe I can make some money doing this. I just do this for fun for the most part, but it'd be nice to make a nickel or two. We'll see. But I can't do that with just where I'm at now. 1,000 episodes in. I just never asked. And I guess maybe I have to ask in order to get you guys to like and follow. I got a lot of great followers already, so join them. Thank you for the 1000th episode of the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.